Okay, so second year in a row I'm using this title for a video. We got a few games to talk about. Nuggets go up 3-0 on the Lakers. Embiid drops 50. We now have a 2-1 series there with game 4. It's going to be insane. Knicks Sixers. Magic get back against the Cavs. Now that's 2-1. Thunder are up 2-0 on the Pelicans, but I need to start with Celtics Heat. Just give me like 40 seconds on this and then we can get to the title and thumbnail. Look, I didn't do a video on it because my thought process is talk about it here, and then if Miami wins another game of the series, then we can go full-blown panicking Celtics fan. The Celtics, through playing drop on screens, through just having Drew like helping way off of Hawkes, or I don't know, Derek White helping off of Highsmith, or just whatever you want to do. Jalen being a little slow coming around, some Tyler Hero DHOs with Porzingis dropping. They dared Miami to beat him from 3, and oh my goodness did they beat him from 3. And then on the other end, through having, at some points Bam on Tatum or just Bam kind of anywhere, a lot of switching, being physical with Porzingis in the post, they were able to put the Celtics into the very ugly offense that we saw a lot, in previous years, especially in the playoffs, where just not a lot of movement, not a lot of anything happening on offense. I mean, hell, Miami took more threes than the Celtics. So a masterclass by Spoelstra, and I will just hope that it is simply a blip and not anything else that I am terrified of happening. Okay, now we talk about Nuggets-Lakers for a bit. So, Nuggets are up 3-0. And the thing is, the Lakers, the first couple of minutes there, where you had LeBron being very aggressive, helping off of Gordon to get a couple of steals when, it was a Jokic-Murray screen action, and LeBron's just in the middle of the floor before you even could see him really make the rotation, and then we're going the other way for dunks. That was cool. Or AD getting a couple of early plays going at Jokic, picking up fouls. Okay, then Michael Malone, very quickly put Gordon on AD. And then we eventually just saw the Nuggets be the Nuggets, where they're just terrifying, man. I mean, what is sticking out in my mind the most just at the end there was just MPJ in the fourth, long two-pointer over Austin Reeves, long two-pointer over Taurean Prince, gets open on a backdoor cut with Jokic at the three-point line, so the paint is pretty open. That one, he's getting by Taurean Prince. The amount of transition buckets that Aaron Gordon had, where he's just beating guys down the floor, or the putbacks, or just play after play of him beating the Lakers on the backside, baseline cuts, dunker spot, whatever you want to call it, with LeBron getting just more and more visibly upset every single time it happened. The last time it was with LeBron helping off of Gordon, so then the conversation there becomes, is he helping at the right time? Well, or is it when he helps, then somebody else has to come down as well, so Gordon isn't open? That's a whole can of worms that you can get into. I'm not going to pretend to be a genius with everything happening on a basketball court. What I will say is they just got cooked on Aaron Gordon backline stuff, which is not a surprising thing. We see it happen all the time with Denver. The other thing with the Lakers, and I think they've just been kind of fighting this all season, is the way their half-court offense just sometimes loses juice. I mean, the very first play of the game that they ran it's called, Chicago action. Basically, you have, stagger screens for somebody coming out of the corner, and then they get a DHO. So it was LeBron, AD doing that, Jokic high up on that one, and then AD got a score at the rim off of it. And obviously the Nuggets are very good defensively, but also it just throughout the game, it did feel like it wasn't a guarantee you were going to get that sort of thing all the time from the Lakers. Anyway, let me talk about D'Lo. He had 0 points. I don't know what else to tell you. That 1 3 that he took kind of outside of the flow of things, which then led to, I think, KCP getting a transition thing on the other end. Or I think it was MPJ, actually. Then the other time where KCP stole the ball from him, it was second quarter where the Lakers potentially had a little moment where they maybe could have extended the lead, but the Nuggets were going to win this game no matter what. But yeah, D'Lo was bad. Anyway, AD was really good. Don't want to forget about that in the shuffle of this whole thing. And I'm sure Laker fans are saying all types of things about D'Angelo Russell as well as Darvin Ham right now. So, okay. Let us go on now to the Knicks and the Sixers, where I think this game 4 is about to be something nuts. But for this game, so look, Joel goes crazy. And of course, you're going to get all your signature Joel things. Face-up jump shots, long twos over Hartenstein, or drawing a three-point play on him on that one time where Hartenstein was really close to him. Yes, Joel did have that thing early on where he grabbed Mitch's leg when he was on the ground. Joel, please do not do that. That is a dangerous play. And you are lucky that it was a flagrant 1 and not a flagrant 2. Anyway, if I can attempt to just talk about the actual hoops for a second. But I think the biggest thing that Philly found in this game, man, and I felt like they really leaned into it in the third, was Lowry screening for Maxey. Batum did it a little bit as well, but it was a lot of Lowry screening for Maxey with Embiid at the top of the key acting as, if not another screener, then another dude we got to care about who's pretty close to the screen, if that makes sense. And I'd have to go back and look at exactly how many buckets I got off of it, but I deliberately remember an Embiid pick and pop 3 at the top of the key. I also remember a time where it got a lot of Knicks rotating, and then Lowry had a wide open corner 3, and Maxey hit him with the skip pass, and OG had to help pretty hard just to get over to Lowry. And then I think Campaign basically ran the same thing later on, which then got the Embiid switch onto McBride, and then Embiid scored through like 3 dudes after getting that switch. Like I said earlier, like Batum also ran that screen action with Maxey one time with Embiid, again, top of the key, which got Embiid open in the middle of the floor, and then he hit Oubre with a cut. So that could be something that Philly leans on more moving forward here. And of course, Maxey was cooking. He had like one like deep 3 over an iHeart switch that was pretty good. Some other interesting things. I mean, Brunson had his best game so far. Still dealing with the same things. It's Batum on him or it's Oubre on him, and they just got length and they're trying to fight around the screens and contest him from behind. And you got Joel waiting for him on all these. And I mean, he had one play in that third where he like basically gets around the screen and then he sort of like crosses over Joel at the free throw line in order to get a finish, or just a couple of pull up twos with Joel waiting for him. I mean, he didn't make all of those shots, of course, but yeah, that's going to remain a theme in this series. Of course, not all of his buckets were off of, specifically screen actions at Embiid, but it's going to remain a thing. But if he can get any sort of like ISOs on Maxey, if he gets that switch or whatever, although Maxey was doing a valiant job in one of the games defensively on him, then of course you'll take those. There was also a very small stretch of this game where maybe it was more and I just didn't notice it quick enough, but Embiid was guarding Josh Hart for some minutes in this game, and I do wonder if that could be potentially a preview of something we could see more of. The one thing with that, though, is taking your big guy away from the paint with the Knicks bigs. It's just that might be too much to deal with. Although now Mitch is in a walking boot, so we'll see there. The game 4 is going to be nuts, dude. Okay, now we go to Cavs Magic, which I was not able to see much of live because other games that were on tonight. But I was able to look at some stuff like at halftime of the Laker Nuggets game and stuff like that. First off, Paolo shot making, my goodness. I mean, you're talking turnarounds over Donovan Mitchell. You're talking taking Mobley on an ISO on the left-hand side and just putting his shoulder into him and then creating enough space to then get a fadeaway on the baseline. Screening for Cole Anthony to flow into a pull-up 2 over, I think, Mitchell another time. Like, that right there is the dream game that you envision as a Magic fan for Paolo and what you're going to be seeing just a lot over many, many years. The Magic did make their threes, which is huge, and then defensively, I was able to look at some of the Cavs' missed shots. I mean, like the Cavs did take a decent amount of pull-ups that I imagine they would feel okay about, but they didn't go in. But you also had nice little plays where like there's a bunch of Magic in the paint, or Mo Wagner's waiting for Darius Garland underneath the basket, and then like Cole Anthony and Jonathan Isaac have to switch off ball. So then Isaac's got to end up like on Max Strus on a closeout, and he closes out on him really well, then contests him at the rim or going the other way. It's just great defense, enough three-point shooting, and then Paolo being Paolo for the Magic. And also Suggs. I mean, he was scoring a bit. He had like a step-back 2-pointer. It's like, okay, go off, Suggs. And then we can get to the Thunder and the Pelicans. And look, no disrespect to the Pelicans, but OKC is going to win this series. And so for me, what I'm just kind of focusing on is just Chet a lot of the time. And it is kind of a fun matchup, him and Valanciunas sometimes, right? And obviously Valanciunas is not an all-star, but he's the type of player where you just think, the big-bodied center who just wants to be physical and all that versus Chet, and just what does it look like? And I mean, like sometimes Valanciunas is, going at Chet in the post. Sometimes he's scoring on him over an offensive rebound. Other times Chet is slipping a screen, and Valanciunas is just simply not fast enough to deal with it, and then Chet's open on the back line, or he's just spacing him out from 3, and I don't know. It's just kind of a fun thing.